Hi, Andrew.
I don't know how I'm on here twice. Let me get that corrected.
Sure.
Hi, Doug Chandler here. I'm with Andrew.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Hi, this is Doug Chandler. I'm with Andrew, and I'm also the Middlesex Canal Commission member from Chelmsford.
Got it. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Okay, let's get started then. I'll quickly share the agenda for today's meeting. So we are a small group today, so we can go around and introduce ourselves. I can start. My name is Shravanti Gopalan Narayanan. I'm a transportation planner at NEMCOG. I'll pass it on to Jenny.
Hi, it's Jenny Raitt. I'm the executive director of NEMCOG, but I'm in my car driving, so I cannot do much more than say hello and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Jenny. Andrew, do you want to introduce yourself? Andrew, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Excuse me?
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Andrew Jennings. I'm Billerica's representative on the Lowell Regional Transit Authority. Very interested in active transportation. I live in Billerica, Massachusetts.
Thank you so much, Andrew. So we would like to give a brief introduction and overview of the plan. So Envision 2050 is a 25-year regional transportation plan, which is designed to identify regional transportation issues and address them through federal funding allocated by the U.S. Department of Transportation. The Regional Transportation Plan, RTP, is one of the 3 federally required certification documents produced by the Northern Middlesex Metropolitan Planning Organization. The other 2 documents are the Unified Planning Work Program, UPWP, and Transportation Improvement Program, TIP. In Massachusetts, TIP is updated annually. Envision 2050 plan serves as the framework for transportation investments in public transportation, bicycle, pedestrian facilities, highways, bridges, and transportation-related air quality improvements. So I hope you all got a chance to take a look at the plan. And this meeting is for us to hear comments and thoughts on the long-range transportation, regional transportation plan. So we have a few more folks who have joined us in the meeting, so we can quickly go around and introduce people who have joined us now. Marlies, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, Marlies Henderson. I'm from Billerica. I came in a little late, I'm sorry. As for the draft that you sent, I thought the format was not very easy to work with, so this little small thing. So I rely on Andrew Jennings, who did read it. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment, Marlies. I've noted it down and we'll make sure to address your comment. So we also have our NEMCOG staff member here joined us. Jessica, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Belanger. I'm a transportation mobility specialist, and I work closely with Shravanti in the transportation department at NEMCOG. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Alan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, Alan Herrera. I don't know if you can hear me, from the City of Lowell. This is a transportation engineer.
Thank you for joining us, Alan. So I will continue with the plan objectives for long-range regional transportation plan. Plan objectives include to establish a clear guide that identifies and analyzes our region's transportation infrastructure and service related to improvement needs, to direct transportation investment priorities over a minimum 20-year time horizon for all modes of transportation, to provide data and projected transportation trends and design systems to respond to these trends. Envision 2050 vision and goals for a region. Envision 2050 is our comprehensive vision for the future of transportation in the NEMCOG region. By projecting and planning for anticipated growth over a period of 30 years, this plan will establish a foundation for cost-effective, energy-efficient, and equitable transportation options for all users. As part of this, as part of developing this plan, we conducted robust public outreach efforts, which includes meeting with our 9 municipal, we conducted 9 municipal meetings with all the communities in our region. We met with various partners like UMass Lowell, LRTA, Mass Fire, Middlesex 3. And in addition to this, we also conducted 2 mode-based focus groups, which are pedestrian and bicyclist focus group and transit user focus group. In addition to this, we also conducted 2 regional forums, one in November, which was a kickoff meeting, public forum number 1, and another one, public forum number 2, where these were meetings that we hosted to get feedback and thoughts from public. And in July, we presented draft plan to the MPO for release, and we released it for public comment, we are currently in the public comment period, which ends on August 17th. And today we are here at our public comment meeting to hear any additional comments from public. In the upcoming MPO meeting, we will present any comments that are received, and the MPO members will endorse the plan. So this is an overview of the plan and the timeline of the plan. Are there any other public comments from folks who have joined us today?
Sravanti, there's been a group of Middlesex Canal people, trails people in Billerica, and we've attended your public meetings after all your robust efforts. And where would I see our public comments from the past, where we talked about connectivity of the Yankee Doodle with Middlesex Canal towpaths? Where would we find it in the draft? What our suggestions were for the long-term vision?
It's not on top of my mind right now, Marlies. I have to refer to the plan.
I can help. Are you referring to your comments from the public meeting?
Yes.
Sure. So those meetings were recorded, the one that we had in March at Wanna Lancet. It's up on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We made notes during the session. We also watched the recordings and took notes, and that feedback was incorporated in this draft plan. So consideration was paid to those
Yeah,
comments that you shared. And remember, you had some comments around the survey and some additional details that we shared.
Yeah.
Is there anything specific?
I think Andrew can speak to that better. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot there, Andrew.
I sent in a question before the meeting, and it was basically, I think it was Appendix F, which was the universe of LRTP projects. How was that universe developed?
So we met with all the municipalities to understand their regional priorities and projects that are down the pipeline. And through those conversations, we put together all the projects list, and that's how we were able to consolidate the list of projects that you see in Appendix F as universe of projects.
So the universe.
Now,
Oh, go ahead.
so it's basically the universe of projects comes from the municipalities and not the public meetings, correct?
That's right.
Are there any specific criteria that a project has to meet before it gets listed? Does it have to be at a certain design stage or something like that?
I don't think so. It's mostly so some of the projects are TIP eligible. So these projects are listed as part of the universe of projects. But there are also other projects that, the community might have, that lined up, but they may not really know a funding source for those projects. So it is also included as part of the list, because it's basically finding the list of projects and prioritizing based on the conversations with the community. So it is basically a consolidated list of the upcoming projects.
I'm surprised that the list isn't much longer. I think I could have used all the federal funding in Billerica if I had been given the opportunity. So on that, since there are so many potential projects, did you do any screening as the Northern Middlesex Council of Governments?
Can you elaborate on that, please?
There are lots of potential projects out there. I'm sure many, many more than the potential funding that you identified provide. Did you do any screening of the projects and winnowing them down, or is this basically 100% list that the communities gave, or was there a time limit on that you put projects on, or something of that nature?
So as part of our TIP process, we do, and those are the recommendations that we include in the plan. There is a TIP review criteria that we've developed as an agency, and the NPO has approved. So that is a criteria that we look at in terms of safety, equity, and a few other metrics to confirm that they align with our regional goals, but then also the goals that our municipalities have set. Excuse me. And those are the projects that generally move forward. So they go before the MassDOT review committee. They look at a project proposal and they have that scoring criteria in mind when they determine if a project is TIP eligible or not. But sort of think of the universe of projects as maybe a wish list. So those are all of the high level projects that a municipality would like to do. And then we work with them reviewing the TIP criteria and understand if the project is TIP eligible, if it meets the criteria, and if it's sort of risen to the level that it has regional significance or it's of high priority for the municipality. And in those cases, that's when the project's often initiated.
And in addition to this, it also depends on the kind of investment program that it qualifies, because if you got a chance to look at the recommendation section, each project in the future is, so it's basically based, the projects that are to become eligible in the future are based on the funding that is allocated for investment program. So based on the investment program category, each project gets selected to be included as part of TIP in future. Again, there are like various factors that play role in a particular project becoming a priority for the community, which also includes the construction cost estimate. And as Jessica mentioned, we have TIP TC score criteria. So it is basically to evaluate each project and see which projects are have the most positive impact. This could be greenhouse gas impact and other environmental impacts. So it's basically a lot of these factors that play a role in finalizing which projects gets a priority over the others. And this list of projects is basically for us to get an idea of the different projects that are in the pipeline and that needs to be prioritized in the future.
Thank you.
And if folks are interested in reviewing our TIP criteria, it's on our under services transportation, and then you select the TIP. It's a transportation improvement program. And the first few pages of the document include the scoring criteria and definitions of each.
And it's also in Appendix G1 and G2. And one other thing that I missed to mention is the design status of the project, because a lot of projects might be in 75 in an approved state status. So those projects can also be prioritized over others that are in preliminary design stages or still in a very preliminary stage. That also plays a role in determining which projects gets prioritized.
So this is it. We're just waiting for other people to chime in on the Vision 2050 draft.
So Marty, this meeting is mostly for us to hear feedback from public. So yes, we just wait for others to show up if they have any comments.
Mm-hmm. And this Vision 2050 process is being followed step by step. I can see that that is done quite meticulously, but to say that we now have a plan or a vision for 10 years, 50 years from now, it just seems to follow the standards and the procedures, but it is not very creative in terms of vision. But that could be my perception.
Do you have any suggestions on how we can make the plan creative?
Yeah, do you have weighing factors with your criteria? So when you talk about, will it reduce CO2 footprint? Will it reduce greenhouse gases? Of course, anything that is a roadway will not reduce it, but I have a feeling that this plan still will increase roadways. and not so much bicycle infrastructure or public transportation. So I wonder if you added, I don't know the word for it, weighing factors. So some criteria weigh heavier than others. So when you talk about greenhouse gases or CO2 footprint reduction or flood reduction, whatever, all these things that are important now with climate change, that we're not just thinking, oh, we need to have so many cars go over this bridge, or so many cars need to get to the center, and then no greenhouse gases reduction because the weighing factors are different.
I can answer that question. So when I say the reduction in greenhouse gas impact of a particular project in terms of reducing the greenhouse gas emissions, this includes, so this basically depends on the type of improvements of a project. So for example, there's a rehabilitation project, and the roadway is currently just 2 lanes of car, 2 lanes. It is a 2-lane road, and the improvements including a bicycle lane and introducing sidewalks on both the sides of the corridor. Then there are certain calculations that we are provided from the state. So we, based on the data that we collect, we complete that form, and it gives us a result of how much greenhouse gas and how much greenhouse is reduced when this particular project is implemented. And this completely depends on the length of the bike lane that is being introduced, the length of sidewalk that is being introduced, and certain other factors, because a lot of times we have certain standards to evaluate how this particular impact can be measured. So we followed all those standards to calculate for each project, and out of those, whichever projects actually showed reduction in greenhouse gas analysis are actually eligible for CMAQ funding, which is a type of funding that a particular project gets qualified for. So that's the reason why, I wanted to understand your question better, so I waited till you completed. But I hope this gives you an idea of how a particular project can reduce greenhouse gas in spite of it being a roadway project. So it basically depends on if there's a bike lane that is being introduced, if there's sidewalks being introduced, and what is the length of these improvements, and if that impacts the reduction in greenhouse gases.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate your answer. And unfortunately, I have to attend to other business. So I'm going to have to leave this meeting, but I'm not upset.
Thank you for your comment, Marlies. I hope
Yeah.
our answer was helpful for you to understand how we evaluate projects.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Take care.
Do you think that if all the projects are implemented in a timely manner, that you'll get the environmental goals that you seek for the region?
Is there a specific project, or you mean just
Overall?
More broadly, I think our projects, we have a set of performance measures, and that helps us measure our progress towards our goals. And all of the projects that are pushed forward or move through the TIP are reviewed against those criteria and the performance measures. I think circumstances might change. For instance, if a project is programmed 2 or 3 years from now and the environmental circumstances change, we can't guarantee that the project's impact would remain the same. But I think it's something that we'd certainly look at. So in terms of if a project is initiated in a given year, and then it's a couple of years before the project takes place, and maybe environmental conditions have changed due to global warming, stormwater, anything along those lines, we would then at that time take a review along with MassDOT to determine the project's feasibility, et cetera, and look at the impact at that time. Does that answer your question?
Not completely. I've forgotten what some of the environmental goals were.
We have our national, so these are the national planning factors, and number 6 is environmental sustainability, and it's to enhance the performance of the transportation system while protecting and enhancing the natural environment. Could that be one of the goals?
Hi, this is Doug. I was just looking at figure 7.2, which lists the 6 areas there and in the TEC scoring system. Perhaps that's relevant to the discussion.
Yeah, so Doug, that is what I explained to Marlies. It was for her question. So this is basically the same thing that I mentioned, but in more technical terms, we have laid out what the different scoring criteria are, and just giving it, providing it in terms of a single line question to understand what are the things that are associated with that particular category. That is what is outlined in figure 7.2. So thank you for pointing that out. Yes, that is related to Marley's question.
Oh, thank you. A follow-on question there is, do any of your documents show the numeric values assigned in arriving at the combined score that comes out in table 7.1 with all the projects? I asked that because I used to do this kind of scoring on projects when I was an engineer for the Air Force, and we did have values assigned for different things and weighting factors, as I believe Andrew or somebody had mentioned. And it's always interesting to see what goes together to come up with a single 3-digit or 4-digit score.
So are you referring to the TEC scores?
Yes, I just wondered, do any of your documents, other than the document we're reading right now, is that explained anywhere else? And do we see where, for instance, the Rourke Bridge, number 1 thing, gets a score of 13.45? And is there anywhere that says, oh, we give the Rourke Bridge 3 points for air quality and 7 points for commuter reduction and things like that?
It is not that detailed in the plan, but in the appendix, if you look at appendix G2, it has the detailed TEC score summary. So that outlines the different overarching TEC scoring criteria, followed by the different subcategories within each of those scoring criteria. For example, if you take condition, it includes various measure of magnitude of pavement condition, surface condition, and other improvement related to infrastructure elements. So it's basically the total score can be 18. And most of these are, based on the condition, they can be anywhere from 0 to 3. And each project, based on the status or the condition of each of those we evaluate and we give them a score, and we calculate the total score that the project scores based on the different scoring criteria, and that's how we arrive at the total TEC score. So it's basically broken down into the categories and subcategories that are in Appendix G1 and G2.
Oh, thank you. Excellent answer. It's my fault for not having read all the appendices. I read just scanned through the main report there. So thank you very much. And we can all look at the Appendix G1 and 2. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. That's a good question.
I have asked mine, so if Doug has asked his, I think we're completed here.
Really appreciate you joining us today, and thank you so much for sharing your comments.
Well, I guess my last comment is, of course, I hoped to see the Billerica and Chelmsford bike path from the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail down to the Yankee Doodle bike path, which we're all pleased to see is number 2 on your list. Be nice to see our pet project on there somewhere. It'd probably be way down lower, but that would have been my goal for reading that report, would be to see something favorable about continuing the Yankee Doodle to the point where it connected to the overall Bay Circuit Trail and the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail in Chelmsford, or you might say in Lowell.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yankee Doodle bike path is a master project, and it is also in the tip, so it is a priority project. So
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for all your questions. I hope our answers were helpful for you to understand the plan better.
Well, I guess it's just a couple of us. I'll go ahead and drop off now. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi. Hi, John. Can you hear me?
How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. So I'm sorry, is the meeting already over?
No, this is a public this is a public comment meeting, so you can join us anytime and share your comments with us.
Oh, I see. Okay. Is there more people or is it just you and me right now?
There were actually more people at the beginning of the meeting, but they just left.
Oh, okay. All right. I was hoping to hear what I'm down in Burlington. I was hoping to hear what other people had to say. So are you going to have a recording of this meeting?
Yes, the recording will be available on our website sometime tomorrow.
Okay. I'll just look at that then. Thank you very
Okay.
much. I appreciate you letting me in, Samantha.
Thank
Have a
you,
great
of course.
afternoon.
And feel free to check our YouTube channel for the recording sometime tomorrow.
You got it. Thanks again.
Thank you. Take care.